Hello, I'm Pamela Field, and I'd like to share with you some thoughts and reflections about this current pandemic that we find ourselves in, to try and position ourselves and perhaps to even become aware of certain opportunities that are not so obvious. As we're losing control over so many aspects of our lives, we still have one factor that we have control over, and that is basically our interpretation of all of this. How we choose to give order to the chaos that surrounds us. Clearly, we have the opportunity to choose a strategic interpretation, one that supports us or even offers us opportunities at this time, or we can get pulled away by the panic of the masses and the hysteria produced by the media. I'd like to mention, I feel a kind of a state of dizziness or disorientation. It's kind of like a dreamlike state even. It's just so all unreal and unexpected. The news comes in on an hourly basis. Changes and restrictions are bombarding us from different areas constantly. The foundations of our existence are even rattling and shaking at this time. Our priorities are changing. It's like we don't want to accept this as our reality. Something in us is refusing or denying to accept all this, even if it is a temporary situation. So I feel kind of a whole dreamlike, strange, surreal aspect involved in this whole situation. Over the past few years, I've noticed some unusual tendencies in many people. And the first one is, I think that a huge sector of humanity is radically disconnected with their natural pace and rhythm. A human being, in my opinion, in their natural essence, should be a connection between earth and sky. There should be an alignment between our minds, our hearts, our solar plexus, and for the women, our wombs. We should walk in a vertical manner, connected with our feet on the ground and connected to all the cosmos that is above us. I think many people are unstable, anxious, running around like little wind-up dolls, not even knowing why they're running, where they're running to, why they're saying what they're saying. There's a huge disconnection with our pace and our rhythm. The other factor that I've noticed is we are all becoming more and more absorbed and seduced by the cybernetic realm. We're disconnected from the earth, from creation. We're disconnected from the land. And basically we find ourselves kind of landing in this strange world of gifts and what's-ups and thumbs up and little hearts. And it's all so strange to me. The Hopi are a Native American group located in New Mexico. They're probably, or perhaps even, one of the oldest existing native groups in the United States. On their land, there is a petroglyph that they refer to as Prophecy Rock. This dates back probably thousands of years. And on this rock is a diagram that indicates the two paths that humanity is destined to take. There are two options. I'm going to put on the screen right now a diagram that shows an actual photograph of Prophecy Rock and another diagram that shows a drawing of it so that you can see the etchings more clearly. The Hopis say that this rock contains a warning about the times to come. Those times are now. If you take a look at the images, the top path represents those sectors of humanity who have disconnected from the earth and from each other. They've wandered off the sacred path. That road leads to insanity, and annihilation. You can see how the image of the person, the different images of like the human form, is actually dissolving. It's missing parts as those crooked lines lead off into some unknown realm, some destructive aspect. Now, if you look at the lower path, this represents those who respect and remain connected to the earth and all of creation. They walk slowly and humbly with their walking stick. They live according to divine and cosmic law. The earth supports them as they live in balance and harmony. This pandemic is asking us to examine with utmost honesty and clarity which path we are actually on. Not the path that we think we're on. And to make the necessary adjustments to ensure that we are on the right path. Mother Earth is calling us back at this time. She wants us to return to her. It's time that we listen. I'd like to mention now 2 interesting side effects of these crazy times, the pandemic that we're living in. On the one hand, it's forcing us to stop, to slow down, to take a time out of our hectic lives, to evaluate where we are and where we were heading, to take a long, overdue time out to reassess, reevaluate, and reposition ourselves. On the other hand, and at the same time, we find ourselves in a situation where our commitments, our work, our social activities are stopping. They're being canceled, radically reduced. We're forced to spend more time alone and more time in our homes. This, if we allow it, creates a sense of emptiness. It does create emptiness. We're no longer filled with obligations. We no longer have to run to this meeting, to that meeting, to our social activities, to have coffee with our friends. All of that's cleared out. It's wiped away. We have an opportunity here to enter into a state of emptiness. These 2 side effects of the pandemic are actually 2 vital conditions of what the Native Americans use or need in their vision quests. A vision quest consists of 4 days, 3 nights. The individual is alone in the wilderness, fasting, praying, emptying themselves with the hope that something greater than themselves will enter into them and guide them in accordance with their life plan. At these times, excesses are being eliminated from our lives. They're being stripped away. And this provides us with the opportunity to create that empty space where perhaps something bigger can enter into our lives and redirect us and guide us on the path that we're meant to travel in accordance with our life plan. Our minds have been leading us all these years. Our minds have been directing and navigating and planning, but our minds are capable of deception. In this interlude, in this strange period of time, in this time alone and time out, I encourage you to be receptive to new perceptions, to new inspirations, to tap into your intuition and navigate within the unknown. I think that many of us are stuffed to the brim with ideas and beliefs and conclusions about life and who we are. We're convinced that we have clear answers and all the information we need to give order to our lives. And we defend our beliefs, sometimes even aggressively. Ironically, if we were to look at this information, we might find that much of it is recycled, second-hand information that comes from unreliable sources. The labels that we've used to define ourselves, who we are, and to differentiate ourselves from all those others have expired. We're all in this together. The current situation can enable us to, if we allow it, reassess every level of our existence. Tap into potentials within us that perhaps we did not even know we possessed. Contemplate new ideas, new inspirations. When we're full to the brim, this is impossible. New discoveries are only made where there is empty space for something new to come in. And this current situation provides us with the ingredients and the situations to access this empty space, if we allow it. It seems to me that global consciousness is also shifting. This is so unexpected, so fast, we didn't see it coming. From one day to the next, our world is being rattled, the foundations are being shaken. And I think in this shifting of global awareness, there's an opportunity as well. We need to reassess and reposition our awareness so that we can take advantage of the fluidity of this changing global consciousness, so that we don't end up stuck and rigid in a rigid image or perception like before. There's an opportunity here to break free of something, to flow with something, to loosen something up from this old fixed image of reality and create something new and dream something new. But these discoveries and all of this requires stillness, calm, inner silence. How can we dream new reality for ourselves individually and for our world? I'm just going to make a little list of do's and do nots. Okay, here's the list of do nots, or suggested do nots. Do not panic. Do not get pulled into the drama, yours or the drama that's out there. Avoid entering conversations and posts about anger and fear. Wash them aside. Don't let them even into your realm of existence. Do not see this as doomsday. See it as an opportunity to make some deep inner changes within yourself. Do not be afraid of emptiness. People fear emptiness. That's why we have radios and we talk constantly to fill the silence. Go into it. Navigate into it. Welcome it. And do not lose your inner peace and your balance. Some suggested do's. Reconnect with the earth, the heavens, and all of creation. Ask the spiritual deities that you believe in to help you and guide you, protect you and support you in these times. Ask them to help you take advantage of the hidden opportunities that are being presented to us at this time. Allow yourself to be humbled and realize that you are not the center of the universe, and you never were. Accept the break in the continuity of your routines and allow space for something new to enter. Focus on aligning your vertical connection between earth and sky. Focus on making the necessary changes in your horizontal connections, meaning how you move in your world, where you put your energy, with whom you associate. Be selective with all of these horizontal connections. Make the necessary adjustments to align with your natural rhythm. This is so important. And surrender to something bigger than yourself. Make a declaration and a readiness and an intention to be in service. Use these times to get back in tune with what really matters. Let go, surrender, and flow. Flow with it all. Very important. Peruse and go through all of your workshop notebooks, your manuals, all the methods that you're trained in, all the self-help books that you've read, your talents. Find your passion, organize yourself, make a plan, and offer some service to humanity at this time. This is so important. We all have to give something back, and now is clearly the time to do that. This current pandemic, in my opinion, is an absolute reality check. We can see very clearly now how we have taken absolutely for granted the privileged lifestyles that we've had. The so-called first world nations are being humbled and brought to our knees. We have to remember that there are whole sections and segments of humanity, whole continents, whole communities, indigenous groups, peoples around the world that have been merely surviving for decades. Their lives are filled with famine, poverty, sickness, lack of water, disease, and much, much worse than we are suffering right now. So now we've had a little sample of what their lives are like. These are just some reflections and ideas and strategies that I am intending to implement in my own life. And I encourage you to take whatever resonates with you from this talk and make a strategy, make a plan, position yourself, and take advantage of the hidden opportunities at this time and do something, contribute something, offer some service. I hope that somehow, together, we can shift something and offer something meaningful in these strange and unprecedented times. So, I send all best wishes to each and every one of you. Navigate, discover, change something deep within you. Find your way.